Welcome, Boise State Bronco fans. Welcome to Bronco Nation Live. He's Sam Gillette with Sam Talk Sports. I'm Nick with Bronco Nation Updates and Blue Elevation. This is a day that we've all been waiting for quite a while, a whole season. We knew this was going to happen with Ashton Jeanty, so we are on the cusp of 2025 NFL Draft Day.
Heck yeah.
This is Bronco Nation Live, a production of Bronco Nation Updates and Blue Elevation. This is created by Boise State fans for Boise State fans. What's up, Sam? How you doing?
I'm doing great. Ready to see Ashton Jeanty make some chaos and get drafted number 1 overall.
Yep. I don't know if you've been hearing, but there's quite a bit of stuff just swirling around, and
I know.
It's like a bunch of piranhas. You know, they all want Ashton. So, you know, we might come into a big surprise tonight.
I know. You see some blockbuster trades to get him off the board at 1 or 2 even. I think he's going to go in that 3 to 6 range, though, somewhere around in there.
Yep.
If he's on the board after pick 6, then something's wrong with NFL front offices.
Yeah, no. As a Boise State fan, you know, we're always ready for a big surprise, but in this case, you know, I think it's a lock. You know, he's going to be in that 3 to 6. He's got everything that teams want. He's got the EQ, the IQ, the work ethic, and, you know, everything that comes from an athlete coming out of Boise State. So, and dude is busy, man. I keep seeing him on all these commercials and stuff. Like I just saw, Alex sent me a link, or she sent me a message saying that he's in a B-Dub commercial.
Yeah.
So I'm counting. Let's see. I'm counting. So he's been in a Pizza Hut, the Open Door, Sharpie, now B-Dub. Just exciting times for that young man. He deserves it all. He's put in a lot of work. He's did something that a lot of people don't do nowadays in the world of NIL and the transfer portal. Is he he took that risk in himself and believed in himself and showed that loyalty. And he was offered $1 million coming from 2023 into the 2024 season, and now he's looking to probably make about $30 million on a rookie, top 3 to 5 rookie salary.
He's good, but I don't think he gets close to the record if he leaves Boise State. Our offensive line really paved the way for him.
Yeah, and then you never know. Like if he would have bounced to a Power 4, you never know how they would have used him. So I mean,
it would off, in the back of the stable somewhere as a relief back or something.
Yeah. So, great, great decision by him. And look at what can happen when you put in the hard work. And you do everything right, and you show loyalty to your team. And I mean, look at how this paid off. So very, very happy for him.
Yep, and then Hassanin too, coming off. I mean, only being competitive football since 2019. I know we talked a lot about that Tuesday night. That's a lot of football to cram into one spot whenever you only have 5 years, and all the negative that he's received. That's just from him not being in it from a kid like all these other athletes that are in the draft. So for him to have only been playing football for 5 years and a potential late round draft pick, that says a lot about his talent and his smarts. And I'm excited to see. Obviously, he's not going to be a first rounder, but I'm excited to see if he actually makes the draft this year. I have him as high as number 5 pick to go into the Dallas Cowboys. A lot of people have him in that 6th range going to the Jets or the Colts. So it's going to be interesting to see if he gets that late round draft pick or if he becomes an undrafted free agent. I'm hoping for the draft pick because he's earned it. 5 years and in the draft, that's unheard of.
Yeah, and him too. He's put in the hard work. He was very impressive in the Senior Bowl. All the coaches got a great impression from him, and also in the combine. And then he killed it at Pro Day at Boise State. He led the nation in the bench for reps. During this process going into the draft. So I think that will go a long ways. And I think we were talking on Tuesday that we think that maybe there's a possibility that he goes in the 5th or 6th round. If he doesn't go there, he's got to go in the 7th. I think he's got that much upside to do so. Anyway, we are streaming live on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook tonight. We just want to throw this out to you if you're watching. Put it in the chat. Where do you think Ashton will go? What kind of are you expecting a trade? Where do you want him to go? What's your favorite team? My team's the Falcons. We got a good running back and quarterback. So, I know that he's not even going to be in play for my team. And if I'm honest, my team always finds a way to bungle things anyway. So I don't really come into the draft, with a full steam of optimism. So I know my team needs defense, and usually when we go into actually the last couple years we've been going in looking for defense, and of course they pick like last year we needed a somebody who could start right away on defense, and of course they picked Michael Penix Jr., the quarterback, after they already signed Kirk Cousins to to a huge contract. So that's
I think Penix is the Falcons quarterback of the future, though. I like him a lot, and I hope he gets some quality playtime this year.
Yeah, and it looks like he is, and and judging from the draft, I think what's going to happen is, for the Falcons is Kirk Cousins is kind of he finished the year as a backup role, so after the draft, he may ask the team for a trade or something like that. But I mean, hindsight, yeah, it looked good, but it's like last couple years we've been hurting on defense for the Falcons, and of course they pick up Bijan Robinson when we already had a pretty good backfield, and I mean, it was a great pickup, and so I think about that stuff, like especially with Ashton Jeanty, right? They've been kind of comparing him to Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley. So if you look at let's talk about a couple of trades that may be surprising. Right now, what's really been hot nowadays, in the hot stove with the draft is they are really talking about Chicago trying to move up and trade with New England to pick up Ashton Jeanty. So if we're hearing that, I'm sure that there's other teams that are hearing that. So it may be a frenzy, to get to that, either the third pick with the Giants, maybe somebody takes a bold move and offers up, the whole kitchen, for that pick,
Right.
Or they outbid Chicago at 4 with New England, or New England just goes, shit, we're just going to take.
What would be absolutely hilarious. I've heard that the New England Chicago trade is contingent upon Carter and Hunter both being off the board. So it'd be absolutely hilarious is if the Bears trade up with New England before the number 3 pick, and then any other team trades up with the Giants at number 3, and the Bears made that blockbuster trade and not to get the guy that they were after, and then that Jeanty goes at 3 and the Bears are left sucking their thumb. That would make my night.
Yeah,
I should have been a Packers fan with how much I do not like the Bears.
and I'm thinking that that is a possibility. Chicago gives them all those picks for 4 to New England, and another team's like, screw this, we really want Jeanty, we're gonna get number 3, right? But I guess the consolation would be, because what I'm looking at here is the best available player is actually Carter, but Tennessee needs a quarterback, so Cam Ward's going to go first.
And that's another another play where Tennessee might be in for a trade for someone to come up and grab Jeanty at number 1, like the Cowboys or the Jaguars or the Raiders, to grab him at number 1 so they get their guy. Because this is, as many have pointed out, this is one of the weakest quarterback classes. Not saying they're bad quarterbacks, but in history or in years past, this is one of the weakest quarterback classes that we've seen in the NFL. And many are arguing that if this was last year, Jeanty wouldn't even be a top 10 pick, which I can't disagree with that, because it is such a quarterback favorite league and the running back is getting overlooked. Saquon Barkley helped the running back position last year with the Eagles, and it could really spur that need to, hey, we need to get that backfield guy. And Jeanty only helps his case with all his highlights of him picking up the blitz. I can't tell you. I don't have enough fingers and toes to even begin to count the number of times that Matson was able to complete a throw or get outside the pocket because Jeanty picked up the blitz. And that is something that you absolutely have to have in the NFL with the sack-hungry defensive ends and edge rushers and it's not going to go unnoticed, and I don't think it has, and I think that's the reason why he's being regarded as that, and why there is that small potential that he could go in that top 3 spot if someone trades up for him, just for that alone. Not to mention his yards after contact ranked second only to his total yards last year in the NCAA. So, and like he said, if you want it's a tackle league, and I'd draft a guy that you can't tackle.
Right. Okay, so everyone who's watching, we got about 10 minutes before the draft. We are going to simulcast this. We won't have a visual, but we will have the audio. So in the meantime, if you guys could do us a real big favor and start liking wherever you're watching, like it, and share this out to the rest of Bronco Nation. And then also just start getting active in the chat. We will we'll highlight your comments, your questions, your reactions for these draft picks. We're going to probably cover at least the first 10 draft picks, maybe up to 21. But we'll see how it goes and how the interaction's going. If we got a party going on, and we're into pick 20, we'll keep going, So pull up a chair, share this out, like it, and then we're gonna go live and you guys can watch it, watch it live where you're at, and we're gonna have it simulcast, especially the audio at least, and then we'll also have the draftcast on the screen here. So
we're here for live reactions too. We'd love to hear your live reactions, your live thoughts. So like, comment, and share, and we'll read your comments or put them up on the screen, like Chris's comment now, wanting Denver. So it's going to be a fun night. Get your friends in here, hit the likes. Let's see how many likes we can get during this broadcast, and let's have a fun time. Let's make a party out of it.
Yep. So Chris Chance, he's answering the question. The question in the chat is, what team do you want Ashton Jeanty to be picked by? And so he's picking Denver. So Chris, if Denver wants to have a chance, they're going to have to trade up, because he is not going to be around at pick 20 for sure. So they're going to have to maneuver and outbid Chicago, because there's a big demand by Chicago to trade up and get Jeanty. If the rumors are true, they are trying to aggressively trade up with New England. So if Denver wants a chance, they're going to have to either outbid Chicago with New England, or go up 1 to 3, and which is going to cost him even more. So,
and there's no guarantee that the Giants are even willing to trade right now.
Yep. Yeah, because or I've even heard this too. There's still egg on the Giants' face for the Saquon Barkley debacle. Letting him go to a rival, and then the rival immediately going and winning the championship. So, or I've heard that they could, pick Jeanty, and that would be each spot that Jeanty goes up and is selected, I think it's like $3 to $6 million more.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's going to be a very historic night for Boise State, because obviously he is a top 10 regardless. It's going to be anywhere from that 3 to 6 range. There's that outside chance of a number 1 pick, but not likely with Tennessee needing a quarterback. But it's possible. Will it happen? We'll see. We got about 5 minutes till the draft actually starts, and I'm sure Tennessee's going to be making their pick pretty soon after that. They've had all off season to to figure out who they want. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited. Previous number one pick, or previous top pick, not number one, for Boise State was Ryan Clady. Whenever he went number 12 to the Denver Broncos, and he spent his entire career at Denver and retired with Denver. And I believe that Ashton, whoever he ends up playing for, he has that potential to be that Ryan Clady type, get drafted by a team and retire with that team. And he proved that at Boise State whenever he didn't leave and he came back for his junior season. So.
Yeah, so either way, what we're going to witness tonight is Ashton Jeanty is going to make history with the highest overall pick to ever come out of Boise State. Ryan Clady was 12 in 2008, and so and he's not going to make it to 12. That's a lock. So
Cam Ward is expected. Obviously, if you believe all the hype and all the pundits and everything, Cam Ward's expected to go number one, just because he's viewed as the best quarterback in this draft class. I think it's a way closer quarterback race between Ward and Jackson Dart. In my opinion, watching the two play, I think Ward does edge him out just slightly, just for his calm demeanor in the pocket and everything. But I can't fault the Titans if they do go Ward over a running back or anything else, or trading away. But I'm also not going to be surprised if they decide to trade away and get their quarterback next year, and maybe try and target a Will Howard or something like that out of Ohio State. So there's those options, those probabilities that are out there. It's not the greatest quarterback class, but it's not a bad quarterback class either. There's just not as many of them. So we'll see what Miami does, or not Miami, excuse me. We'll see what Tennessee does there at number one here within the next 20 minutes.
Yep. And it wouldn't surprise me because there is a need for a quarterback in New Orleans. You've got Derek Carr. He's either got a shoulder injury or he wants out. I've heard both. Like maybe he's using that because he wants out. So New Orleans is going to have, a decision to make. They can pick up a Shador, or they could pick up a Jackson Dart too. So I've heard that Jackson Dart and the quarterback from Louisville are really trending up and may even be picked before Shador Sanders. So, and Shador Sanders, from what I've heard, just the audition portion of the pageantry leading up into the draft just really bombed. Like there was one GM that said that he had never had a worse interview with a potential draft pick. So
right. I don't think Manziel bombed that hard.
I like Manziel.
Yeah. If he didn't enjoy the party life more than he enjoyed the football life.
Yeah.
So,
that's true.
My father has asked, draft status aside, what team is the best fit for Ashton Jeanty?
We talked about this on Tuesday, right?
Yep.
And I still think that New England is probably, especially for the bang for the buck for Ashton, right?
Yeah.
I think that it would be a great fit for him, not only financially because at pick 4, but also system-wise. You got Vrabel in there, and he had a really good run game at at Tennessee, I believe, with Henry. But just that culture right there, and that reminds me of Boise State. That system there. So for me, I think that would be the best place for him. Looks like the draft is on.
Yes, it is. There's a lot of people there.
You wanna hook us up, or
yeah, let's
see how this plays out.
Travis Hunter, Heisman Trophy winner from Colorado, and a rare two-way player who wants to play on both sides of the ball in the NFL.
That sounds good.
From Penn State says that he is the best player in this draft class. After a splendid career wearing that storied number 11, Abdul Carter will hear his name called early.
I still think that Ashton Jeanty is the best player in the draft. I
think he's definitely best offensive player. There is the case for Carter, though.
There is, but I'm also hearing that there may be some injury concerns about him.
Yeah.
He was injured last season for some time, so that kind of dinged his value a little bit. So there's that. But I think like day one to, if you want a draft pick to start contributing on day one, I think your best bet would be Jeanty.
Yeah. And I don't disagree. Sorry, my camera is at a weird angle and I don't like it. We're going to move this around. All right. Travis Hunter obviously is also going to be high on the draft pick just from his two-way status and all the hype surrounding him. He's going to have that same hype that he had going into the Heisman ceremony. So I'd like to see him go high regardless of who needs what, just because of that hype. I don't see him dropping out of the top 5.
You got Roger Goodell riding in on a Schwinn on the stage in Green Bay. So they're kicking off right here. So if you guys are watching this, if you guys are watching this with us, Lil Wayne, why don't you tell us who do you think is going to go number 1, and who do you think there's going to be a surprise or a trade up for a player, and where do you want Jeanty to be drafted? Drop those in the chat, and we will highlight those on the show.
And not just Jeanty either. Let us know who your favorite player in the draft is and where you want to see them go. Maybe we'll be able to touch on them or highlight when they've been drafted, and let's make a party out of it.
Quite
a few people there, man.
The Green Bay was too small for this, with a population of 107,000. But we have over 125,000 people here and still counting.
You say there are 125,000 people.
Obviously, Green Bay may be small, but it's mighty. Thank you all for welcoming us here tonight, and hope you have a great few days.
Dang, look at all those people, all those cheeseheads, man.
Even spilling over into the stadium.
Yeah. And they've got they have the green room right behind the stage. So that's where Ashton Jeanty is, like right now. He's back there. He won't be there for long, of course.
Over the next 3 days, we will welcome in the next generation of stars into the NFL.
3 minutes.
We hope to every NFL team, and we may have a few surprises for you tonight. But first, let's hear from some of your Packer greats. Please welcome Clay Matthews.
That man was a beast.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Nelson. Mason Crosby.
Hey, everyone in TikTok, start liking
Green.
start tapping the screen. Give us some likes here. Get us higher up in the algorithm, please.
And don't forget, comment who you want to see drafted and where you want to see him drafted to.
Yep, comment in the chat. Like where do you want Ashton Jeanty? Where would you like Ahmed Hassanin?
Roger, but I just got off the phone with the president, Donald Trump. He asked me to pass a message along to all 32 NFL franchises. So let me tell you what it reads here, all right? It says, my fellow Americans,
Oh,
the bear still sucks.
And that is why I don't want Jeanty to go to Chicago.
Oh, that was great. Okay, we got Robert Ridnour. He says, I wouldn't be surprised if Jeanty went to the Raiders at number 6. Well,
I think he's going to be on the board at number 6.
Yeah, Robert, there's a good chance that he's not even going to be there. There's a lot of demand on Jeanty right now. Thank you, everybody on TikTok, for tapping that screen and giving us the likes. If you can keep doing it, that would help us out on the algorithm. Appreciate you guys.
All right, got 10 minutes on the clock. We're about to find out if there's any Jeanty magic left. If anyone's going to trade up at number 1 to get Jeanty, it's going to happen in the next 10 minutes.
3 stops in college, no one Division I level has thrown more touchdown passes, and it seems as if they're pretty settled. And they're.
But I fully expect Cam Ward to be the number 1 overall pick.
I think the reason,
and he's deserving. He started out at University of the Incarnate Word over in San Antonio. I've driven by that place many a times when I lived there.
You talk to Mario.
His story, he's got a good story too.
He could not say enough things about what he brought to that.
He definitely put in the work, and he had a great season this season, and it's really I bet you he's really grateful that Tennessee needs a quarterback.
Robert Coggins on TikTok
that they knew that they had.
says the Jaguars will pick Jeanty at 5.
All right, so Brian Callahan, of course, the Kirk reference.
And on Facebook we have, hey Pat, glad you could join us. Pat says she wants Jeanty to be sent to the Saints. Second choice is she'd like to see him on the Las Vegas Raiders.
I want
Pat, for him to get on the Saints, they'd have to actually trade up to get him because there's such a high demand on him, around at least 4.
A guy who actually can play offense and defense at a very high level. He checks all the boxes. Let me show you exactly what.
So we're right about 8 minutes left for the first pick. I don't know what's taking him so long. He should already had his hat on and up at the podium,
They're waiting for any last minute trades that might be worth it.
I mean, if a team wants Jeanty that much, that would be the place to go. Is just not even play around and just go up there and get him.
He understands the yellow line is the first down. 3rd and 4, it's going to be a quick pass. He puts his hands on the receiver, but he keeps his eyes on the quarterback. So it's going to come out quick. He jumps the quick out. I think, Coach and guys, I believe that a lot of fans and analysts that look at the guy's traits and how fast he is, how quick he is, and they have twitch. And I think because of that, they don't give enough credit to his football IQ. And to make plays like that, which are bang bang, is because of film study and a high football IQ.
Hey, TikTok, let's do some tapping on that screen. Let's see if we can't get 500 likes before this pick comes in.
I think that's why my man Travis Hunter won a Heisman, and he'll probably be at least a top 3 pick tonight. And we're going to tell you a lot of stories of these guys in the past that they've taken to get here, people who've been influential, and give them some of their backstories. Browns are at the moment sitting there in the second spot. We haven't had any trades in the first round. Everybody's in the original draft order. Giants in third, Patriots and Jaguars after that. And a defensive edge guy, it seems like there's several guys who can make an impact that position in this draft, Nick. Abdul Carter of Penn State seems to be at the top of the list.
Abdul Carter.
Driven guy. He's
2024 Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, and it was well deserved. He could have been National Defensive Player of the Year as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, there is a decision to make at 3 or even at 2. Like if
quarterback.
But it would be so Browns of them just to take Hunter. I mean, he's a natural fit for them, right?
Yeah.
But
I think the Browns just need to trade their number 2 pick away and let Shedeur Sanders be picked up by the Browns in the second round, and Travis Hunter by the Browns in the second round.
I've seen scenarios where they do. There's people that want to see both Hunter and Sanders on the Browns, and there is a possibility of that if they take Hunter at
So if you watch it on Saturday, you're going to see a lot of players who have to wait but end up becoming key contributors because players, but I might have a third round grade on this.
But at 2,
vice versa,
2 or 3, if there's a team out there that thinks that the Bears are going to grab Jeanty at 4, that's the opportunity that they have to trade up and get that.
This very spacious green room, Reese Davis. We got
Gator up here. He says he wants Jeanty to go at number 2. So Jared, who do you think would be willing to trade up to get him? Who do you want? I think you're a Broncos fan. So
as soon as Commissioner Roger Goodell said that the pick
Jared,
was
pop over on TikTok and tap that like button too.
You know that these families are feeling every single thing, nerves, emotions, lots of pride tonight, and that's what we're seeing already. Of course, we'll tell you everything that's going on in here as well as talking to these families.
Titans are taking their sweet time.
The future of the NFL is in this room. Abdul Carter's family is right here as well. Reese, I feel sure we will hear his name.
I expect to hear Cam Ward's name called.
He's made no secret. He expects that. He also has put out some things on social media that would indicate he has a really good idea of who's going to select him. But things can change on draft night. We've seen it so many times over the years. Nick, keep watching.
So Bronco Nation, let's hit that like button on TikTok. Let's see if we can't get up to 500 likes.
I think Travis Hunter is
before they announce this pick.
That's a first-round draft pick as a receiver, the first-round draft pick as a cornerback.
Vader says he wants him to go to the Raiders, I guess probably because it's more close. But he's a Denver fan, so I don't know what's going on tonight, Jared. Being silly,
he just wants him to go where it's close to home and go watch him play.
Yeah. I mean, I would like that too, but they're going to have to trade up to get him.
Yep.
Yeah. If I were to answer that, I would say
there was a time where the Raiders pick at number 6 was safe.
As far as
it's not the case anymore.
I think he'll have in the 2025 year. So the Tennessee Titans, after a 3-win season, a disappointing one, they have made their pick. A lot of teams tried to get up, see if they could make a deal to take that number 1.
Here comes Roger Goodell.
For the Titans, presumably to go after the quarterback, and we go to the podium for the first pick of the year.
With the first pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Cameron Ward, quarterback, Miami.
Yep.
He says Cam's okay with him, but his folks prefer Cameron, and what a path it has been. His third stop in his
that was expected.
Was Miami. The finalist for
As
the
expected.
eventually went to Travis Hunter, but Cam Ward, the cornerstone, the
He,
building block,
he deserves it. His story's been a great one from
after being selected by the Tennessee
the lows of
Titans.
the
Zero-star recruiter
UIW
that has
days to
been
the highs of the
home-based
Miami
offensive
days and
league.
everywhere in between.
Around
He
the line.
fought
Man, when he
from
started
West Columbia
throwing,
to
he can really spin that
Green
thing.
Bay, now going down to Tennessee.
Zero-star means
So at the first pick, the Tennessee Titans did in fact pick Cam Ward, as a lot of people
story and makes you
predicted. So now we're at pick 2, where most people
the game with a chip on his shoulder, has a competitive spirit, tremendous leadership,
The
work ethic, everything.
the Jaguars traded up.
Jaguars traded up.
I think Jeanty's about to go to number 2. Jaguars wanted an explosive running back.
Yep, here comes Jeanty. That's got to be it. Wow.
Where they are with the offense and the offensive line, this guy.
They didn't want to take any chances with the Giants or the Patriots. Or are they going to try and get that two-way player with Hunter? Because they need both a wide receiver and a cornerback. Could they be trying to get Hunter?
Wow. There we go. We knew that something wild was going to happen, man.
Yep.
And they probably heard that Chicago is trying to trade up to get was going to trade up to get Jeanty. So maybe this is Jaguars going, no, I don't think so.
But at the same time, we see right there that the Jags need a wide receiver and a cornerback. And who's the best two-way player on the board right now?
Well, and then that would did they trade with the Browns?
Yep. They got 5 minutes on the clock right now.
So the Browns have number 5.
They've been at every one of my youth games since I got to middle school, high school. They missed 0 games of my college career. In Miami, it'd only be a 2-hour trip from Texas to Miami. They're playing, being at every NFL game, no matter we playing in the United States or we're playing overseas. They enjoy watching me play. It means a lot to me to have them.
Cam Ward went from 0-star recruit to the number 1 overall draft pick. That's a story if you ever saw it.
Just putting me in positions to showcase my
So
skill.
I think they're going to take Jeanty because it's either that or they're going to go get a tackle, and you wouldn't trade up to get a tackle because they would have had a tackle available to them, or they actually
That's so important for you.
they need a pass rusher too. So
to really be a professional athlete,
I think they did this to block Chicago. I really do.
He didn't possibly have anyone to do it. Cameron never let that bother him. We just told him to stay.
Jared says he doesn't see Jeanty going to the Jags. I guess we'll find out here in just a little bit. You know,
Look at him. It's amazing. And Calvin, what are you most proud of your son?
As he said, I'm very proud of his work.
The Jaguars have said that they want that an explosive playmaker, but that could also be Travis Hunter. If you watch his college tapes, he does have that explosive speed to be that, and the insane hops to be that playmaker.
Great news, great moment for the Ward family. And now we got to this point. This is
we got the Jags up on the screen. They're talking to whoever it is that they're picking. Maybe it's Jeanty.
Anymore. This is the Jacksonville Jaguars draft room. Jacksonville needs just about everything, particularly on defense. Jaguars
I don't see
a year ago. They were in the mix for the first overall pick.
I don't see Hunter as a fit with the Jackson. I could be wrong though.
Move around. New head coach Liam Cohen coming over after being the offensive coordinator of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Jaguars are
the thing about Hunter is he's a better DB than he is a wide receiver. So that doesn't necessarily help out Trevor Lawrence.
The pick is in.
You read that,
but an Ashton Jeanty does.
Yeah.
The first thing was CB, meaning cornerback, and the best one in this draft is Travis Hunter. How fired up is that room right now? Oh man, they're lit. Yes, sir.
I'll bet you somebody else is excited though, is the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, because they really wanted to trade out. They tried to get
draft is a funny thing. Everybody thinks that you pick who you want to pick. Right. You got to pick who's available when you pick. That's right. So when you have extra draft picks, which I'm sure they're going to pick up something for moving down here, that'll put them in a better strategic position to move out of the second round, up or back, so that they can get the quarterback that they want. Absolutely. Yeah, following quickly, the trade is this. The Browns were number 2 overall. They traded 2, a 4th, and a 6th round pick. Jaguars trading their 5th overall pick, which comes up in just a little while, and the 2nd round pick and a 4th round pick, and I think we now have the graphic ready. That's what the trade has been. The last couple of days, you've heard a lot of draft experts saying that the Browns were set, that they rebuffed all of the offers, but apparently the Jaguars
Wow, they got a 2026 first rounder.
know who they're going to pick, but I think if you're going to make this move, you probably
So that's guaranteed almost a first rounder or number 1 pick next year.
Before we followed Deion Sanders to Jackson State, he was supposed to go to Florida State. Well, that's exactly. And then he transferred to Colorado.
So does that mean that Jaguars have the 4th pick too, or 5th pick still?
Yeah, you get 2. You get 5.
I think they traded the 5th.
The Browns, to me,
Did I miss that? I might have missed
trade. I think they're the winner.
The Jaguars ready to make the pick. It is the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award pick. As Roger Goodell, commissioner of the National Football League, is making his way.
I don't know, Jared,
now,
maybe.
With the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award pick.
While we are here tonight to celebrate the 32 young men entering the NFL, I'm honored to take a moment to recognize a player who's made a profound impact on and off the field. The Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award, presented by Nationwide, recognizes one player each year who best represents greatness and compassion, both on and off the field and in the community. Tonight, we are proudly joined by the 2024 Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year, Eric Armstead.
Hey, TikTok, give us some like love. Tap that screen. Give us some hearts up there.
First off, Duval. I want to say thank you to the commissioner. Thank you to the Payton family and the NFL and Nationwide. And also, too, tonight I want to encourage each player embarking on the NFL journey to identify a passion close to their heart and act upon it. Use your platform to make your community, the league, and this world a better place. As you remember, Walter Payton, strive to leave a positive legacy of your own. Thank you. We have a trade. The Cleveland Browns have traded the 2nd pick to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And with the 2nd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Travis Hunter.
No, they wanted Travis Hunter. There you go.
I know somebody who's excited. Little Duval.
Oh,
I know he's amped up right now. Wow. Big.
So the Giants, they're going to most likely take Carter at number 3.
Won the Heisman Trophy. Jaguars have been around for 31 years. It's the first time in
Never mind.
Trophy winner playing for them, and they will.
Giants probably have a better.
We see what Travis. That's a lot of energy. Straight away. Absolutely.
Giants could probably trade their pick away as well.
This is the 4th time in the last 5 drafts that they're going to trade in the first 4 picks. Someone saw this coming earlier, right? And they were anticipating. It's going to be a trade? Okay, let's see if he's going to do a backflip or something. You know, Travis is generally a pretty quiet guy. He likes to fish and everything, but Zach, there is some emotion that is flowing right now as he's on his way.
So Travis Hunter gives the explosion on offense, some deep threat help to Trevor Lawrence. But if Trevor Lawrence can't get to him quick enough, he also provides the help on the defense at cornerback. So they checked off 2 boxes there. Got a comment that says, "I'm glad it was Travis. Jeanty deserves a better team." I don't disagree. Jacksonville has the potential to be a good team.
I let him know that I'm proud of him, and I hope he's proud of me for proving everybody wrong. Thank y'all for everything. I want y'all to continue to do what you've been doing throughout my journey and continue to help me. I appreciate it.
I'm here with Jeanty and Travis Sr. And I'm going to start with you because I know how much it means to Travis that you're here tonight, but what does it mean to you to be here?
It means everything to me. I can't wait for them to grant me to cover which is the biggest moment of my entire life. So it's like the biggest moment of my life too. So I appreciate everything.
You said, Jeanty, that it's like you're going back home, going to Jacksonville. What does this moment mean to you after all you've sacrificed?
This means so much to us just as a whole, as a family, because we get to go back to our roots, which is Florida. And you know, I'm going to have to say this. Duval's in the house. Look, Duval, get ready, because we're going to get him at the boat. It's at the plane. But whatever.
I know you are. Enjoy this, you guys, and congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
Congrats. Reese.
Laura, thank you very much. And Travis Hunter wanted to play for Deion Sanders. And
the Giants pick is in.
That he followed Coach Prime.
And still the best possible player available is Abdul Carter. So they should be taking him, you know.
They don't need him.
Yeah.
I don't know. They may take him just so no one else gets him. I really expect them to trade away number 3, but
again, they could be trying to make up for what they did with Saquon and pick Jenny up too. So
yep.
Tremendous ball skills, very instinctive, you know, on both sides of the ball, whether he's a corner or a wide receiver. I mean,
all right, everybody, if whoever's watching, let us know where you think Jeanty's going to go. We're on pick 3. We already had a surprise trade with the Jacksonville Jaguars trading up with Cleveland to take the number 2 pick, and they picked up Travis Hunter.
That organization decides to do what is his primary position, and where does he end up trying to maybe help out on the other side? Well, he's going to be a shutdown corner, in my opinion, especially a player on offense who's going to add to those skill positions on offense, who's going to help them on both sides of the ball. No doubt. A little bit of a reboot for the Jaguars. That is certainly a great.
You're still hanging with us on TikTok. Go ahead and like, share, and tap that like. Get us some hearts up there so it helps the logarithm out.
14 snaps per game. No other player in the country averaged more than 85. And as if Travis isn't busy enough, I understand that he is scheduled to get married in late May. Oh, wow. Really? A lot going on. How about that? Yeah, a lot of changes, but he mentioned, you know, just so everybody knows, this guy was one of the top players from Lincoln High School. We tried to recruit him in Alabama. He chose to go to Jackson State, right? You know, with prime. Exactly. Yeah. Over Florida State. So, after a little bit of drama, the Jaguars getting Travis Hunter, taking him off the board, and he's down the New York Giants with the 3rd overall pick. You see the fans hoping to hear his name called.
With the 3rd pick in the 2024 NFL, the New York Giants select Abdul Carter.
Okay. Okay, so we're now at pick 4, and so we've been hearing this week that Chicago was interested in getting Ashton Jeanty. So if something's going to happen, either they jump up and get him here, or
year in the Big Ten.
You're looking at him maybe being on the Browns. That doesn't sound good.
Earlier as head coach at Penn State.
The Patriots can still grab him here as well.
Because he's not only as a player.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the Patriots take him. Right now, it's showing that Ashton Jeanty is the best available. So
55 pounds and ran a 4.48. That's like next level.
Patriots are 6.5 minutes on the clock.
On that Giants defense. Yeah. This guy has a unique twitch about him in terms of quickness.
Here we go, number 4.
They were number 11 at Penn State. That is a hallowed number if you're not familiar with the traditions of the Nittany Lions. And you see Abdul Carter down from Philadelphia getting fit for that New York Giants headgear. He'll put on the one with the face mask on it soon. It'll be great to wore number 11, LeVar Arrington.
He was fun to watch this year.
Navarro Bowman also wore number 11. Abdul Carter did it when he first got there. And Michael Parsons continues to star with the Dallas Cowboys wearing 11. And just in case you're wondering, nobody currently on the Giants roster has number 11. If you want to, here we go. Let's pull number 11 out. But we've been talking about it early in his career. He's an off-ball middle linebacker. This past year, he finally just devoted all of his time on the edge. He's just a relentless pass rusher every single week. And what I love about him is he does a good job of not just being that pass rusher, which obviously is why he's being brought in, but he also, you see here, has great instincts, coach. He's tenacious, also accepting that edge against the run. Here you see the guy who's going to be a spy and spy the quarterbacks, and is athletic enough to do that. And, when you think about who the Giants have to play, somebody's got to spy that guy with Washington Commanders because we played them at
come on, New England, pick Jeanty. I do not want him to go to the Browns.
Speed to power can open his hips. As you see,
you got Jaron Hughes on here. He wants Jeanty to go to Denver. Please, for that to happen, Jaron, they're going to have to trade up, and they don't have very much time right now. So it's either trade up.
There's not a trade.
All right, thanks so
Patriots
much. Chris, I watched
in.
you film the entire walk of your son to greet the commissioner. So much pride.
Come on, Jeanty.
How do you think he's going to do his rookie season?
Well, without questions, he's going to go into New York City and be Rookie of the Year. He's going to be the best rookie in NFL football, for sure.
When the dad says it, it means it. Thanks so much, Chris. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We've got so much more coming your way from Green Bay. We're just 3 picks in. And up next, you'll see the Patriots pick. A lot more coming from inside the green room, as well as on the desk with the guys, as we continue after this on ABC.
Well, that stinks.
Well, Nick,
all right,
and tell us about Blue Elevation.
Yeah, so Blue Elevation, it takes a team. So when people donate to Blue Elevation, what happens is, especially if we're dealing with the BAA, all of the benefits that come from the BAA, we pass that down to all of our donors. So when we have our Bronco Roundup events, any swag that comes to Blue Elevation, we give away at those events. So, just some of the perks that happen when you become a member of Blue Elevation, it takes $1. Like anything and everything counts. Like we continue to say. But when you do become a donor and a member, you get a spot on our website for perpetual, position on it. We call it the Wall of Fame, and we have quadrants. So, at the minimum, if you donated $1, you're going to be on our elite quad of the Wall of Fame. We have the elite, we have the pro, legend, and icon. And if you meet the criteria of the ultimate goal, you are going to get a spot on the GOAT Throne room on our website, and that is perpetual. So once you donate, you're on our website perpetually. So those are the cool things about donating to Blue Elevation. Everything is, your donation is tax deductible, so you get to write those off on around tax time. You get those benefits from the BAA passed on down to our members. So it's a win-win. Plus, you become part of our family, and that's why we have our Bronco roundups. That's why we have our our breakfasts every once in a while. It's for those. What up, Alex? We are sitting at pick 4, New England, during a commercial break. Where do you think Ashton's going to land, Alex? Because if he doesn't go to New England or Cleveland, he's going to be a Raider.
Brown. All right. Let's see what we got.
Welcome to College Game Day, built by the Home Depot on ABC tonight in Green Bay, Wisconsin. 2025 NFL draft is underway. We had fireworks already. There were no trades in the first round leading up to the draft. Had a blockbuster. Now with that scripted, Cam Ward going to the Titans 1 overall, but then the Jags made a trade with the Browns. Took Travis Hunter, the Heisman Trophy winner. He's going to Jacksonville.
We got a little bit of time. Everybody in the chat, tell us who you think New England's going to pick.
And now,
Where do you think Ashton's going to go? We got New England on the clock with the pick in, and we have the Browns at 5, and then the Raiders at 6. So what do you think is going to happen, guys?
Now they need to try to protect him a little bit and get him some weapons.
How great is it, by the way, to see Braves back as a head coach and back in New England, where he played and was a part of so many great teams. And Joey talking about he'd like to see offensive linemen selected. He likes to have some of the fun with the receivers and some of the speed. Braves likes linemen, defensive linemen, offensive linemen. He's got to get it.
He knows what wins games. Exactly. He might be thinking his former employer, Tennessee. Well, now you got a quarterback.
Exactly.
He's got a quarterback with great play, and now everybody gets to help him as Roger Goodell is on his way to the microphone.
With the 4th pick in the 2025 NFL, the New England Patriots select Will Campbell.
Okay, they got their tackle, so not happy about this. I hope the Browns don't pick Jeanty.
That's right.
But then again, that's the more he drops, the less he makes. But so
was going to be tight too.
Yeah. Unless somebody trades up with the Browns, this would be their opportunity right here.
Yeah. And played. Yeah. And he did grow up a big LSU fan, Kirk. His family was on vacation. He's 14 years old.
You might get that.
They're in Colorado.
Vegas.
We'd like for you to come
You
down.
might go to the Raiders.
Camp. They fly back early. They drive from Monroe to Baton Rouge. He goes to the camp, and he gets his rear end whipped.
That's a pretty solid suit that guy has.
After the camp, Ed Orgeron, who was the head coach.
Those are some nice threads right there.
I was going to offer you a scholarship if you could have just won a couple of those reps. Will said he cried all the way back to Monroe and then decided, I'm going to go back and I'm going to do better. I'd say he went back.
You're just joining the Browns did trade with the Jaguars. Traded away their number 2 pick, and the Jaguars took Travis Hunter. And now they're on the clock at number 5.
He's really like my brother. He's definitely the life of the
They do not
need
a running back. So I don't. Jeanty may not go to the Browns, and that means that he could end up at the Raiders at number 6, unless they trade it. Browns.
Yep, and everything is it's lining up to where on our Tuesday night show. It's going in the same order, except for you had the swap with the Jags and the Browns. So I'm wondering if there was, I wonder if the
just to help out.
One of the reasons for that swap is that the Browns were going to trade again with possibly Chicago Bears or Denver Broncos, maybe even the Cowboys are in the mix.
Yeah.
Pat Work on Facebook says that she sees Jeanty with the Raiders. It's a great possibility, Pat, unless Cleveland takes them. I hope not, but I don't think that that's an ideal spot for Ashton.
They need more than a quarterback or a running back, I should say. I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Jackson Dart or even a Sanders go.
Right, because it did say, Schefter did say that with that trade, it opens up where they can get a quarterback and a couple more good picks during the draft. So, I mean, they could grab
their pick is in, so there will not be another trade.
Okay, so either they're gonna grab a quarterback or Jeanty.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. But I want to add one thing to your story. Yeah,
it would be so Browns for them to take Sanders,
Yeah.
Even
though he should be like the 21st pick.
But this guy is a really great player. Look at the hands inside here, the power and the movement. Can move laterally.
Yeah, because it's showing that their needs are for quarterback, tackle, receiver, defensive line, and linebacker. So, either they could take a Jackson Dart, or even maybe they grab the quarterback from Louisville, because he's been really trending high on here.
Hey, they could go tackle still and get Armand Lumbu from Missouri.
Yeah.
Picked up a center, right tackle. Now they got their left tackle. They're doing everything that they can to give.
One thing I do know for sure is they are picking this time. They are not trading it away.
Even at the tackle, he loves to over communicate. And all its players always talk about how much that helps them, whether it's the guy next to him or the running back. He's always going to tell them where
only 2 sacks allowed since 2023. That's pretty good.
You didn't see he was on the same page. Look at that, 2 sacks, it's almost 1,000 pass block opportunities. The machine Gamble always keeps his pulse on everything. But Pete, I'm not sure that Mike Vrabel was totally sold on Will Campbell until when?
Well, it was last week. Vrabel and a bunch of the Patriots' top executives, Reese, flew to Baton Rouge for what amounted to a final job interview. And how would you like to punch your future boss on a job interview? Well, that's what Will Campbell did. Mike Vrabel, Don.
Yeah, a comment from my dad says a good running back carries a poor quarterback.
Vrabel fell right over on his derriere, guys. And back to Reese. You can tell he aced.
Okay, here we go. Please don't be Ashton. Please don't be Ashton.
I don't want to root for the Browns.
Please God.
Jaguars moved back, picked up some extra picks, but they do have one in the top 5 of this draft. Cleveland, another team.
With the 10th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Mason Graham.
Wait, they took it. Okay, so it's a lock. He's going to be a Raider. That's for sure.
Mason Graham.
This is a big interior disruptor.
Wow.
Did we have him on our
top 5?
Yeah, I had him going
there was
to
some talk
Carolina.
that maybe he would
At
slide.
number 8.
But man, he led that national championship.
Yeah, I had him going to the Raiders, so because
on
I had Ashton going to the Jaguars.
guy that
So,
we watched very
looks
closely
like
over the last couple years.
I think those are going to flop for me. So I think
To me, when they won the
I'm
national
pretty sure that
championship,
Ashton is next for sure.
is where he started to really
He's
take
a Raider.
out the flash. No wonder Jim
The Raiders
Jones,
were high on him to
from
begin
the
with.
Browns, I'm sure was standing on tables trying to talk to them.
All these
the front
offensive
office
tackles and
about why they
everything,
needed this guy. What an
linemen going off
enforcer,
sport quick though,
an
kind
I believe that he's the 6th top.
of unsettling.
That's being one of those. First one there, Mason Graham.
God, don't fall to number 10. I don't want to root for Chicago either.
The Anaheim area, in Southern California, won a couple of conference championships as a heavyweight wrestler. That's obvious, that background as you watch him playing for Michigan. Sorbonne High School requires their players to play both sides of the ball. He was first team all conference on both. And Mason Graham is headed to the Cleveland Browns, and that is a guy you can build around.
Servite High School, where there's a lot of pressure to win, a great team, a great organization, and a great league. Goes to the University of Michigan, where there's pressure to try to bring that brand back. He was very instrumental in being a big part of bringing Michigan back to being a national title contender, and he did it his way. I mean, they had Kenneth Grant, the interior, but 55 was the guy that every single week, whether it's against the run, getting off the blocks, being able to get a pass rush, which is what the Browns desperately need. Along with
Raiders pick is in.
This is great, guys, and I know you've watched him and what he can do and the way he's grown.
Yeah, I tell you what, when he first got to Michigan, before he went to who he was, Harbaugh made a comment at the event. He said, the football guys have shined on me. He sent me 2 gifts, and this was one of the gifts he was talking about. This young man, Mason Graham, right there. Mason told me that I used to play soccer as a kid. He was running kids over, so they put him in football. And then he played linebacker, coach, and he gained like 35 pounds. And they listen, all right, big fella, time to put your hand in the dirt. And he's never looked back since then. He's just a heck of a player, even better person.
Well, playing against these guys in the playoffs a whole year ago.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this guy was pain in the you-know-what. I mean, his initial quickness, his power to strike and engage and block recognition. I mean, the guy is so hard to block. He can pull the pocket for a short arm, small guy in the middle. Rushes the passer extremely well inside, which makes it hard for the quarterback to step up. This guy made a ton of plays in the last 2 years.
And that game you're talking about, once that game went into overtime, he took it to another level against that man.
His wrestling background helps him tremendously. He was at his best in the biggest games. We go down to the green room with Laura.
All right, thanks so much, Reese. Here with Kim and Alan. Kim, you said this is so crazy. How would you describe this moment for your family?
It's just an amazing, unbelievable moment, and we're just so proud and excited for what Mason's been able to do.
Alan, whenever he held up the jersey with your last name on it, you both smiled so big. What is it like seeing this happen?
It's been a career. It's all life. And he finally did it, so we're so proud of him.
Why is this emotional?
Because we're rich.
And a lot of credit to both of you.
No more mac and cheese.
Or in the Graham family, they can move to Hawaii, so we get some frequent flyer miles.
Yeah, this has to be Jeanty.
The Las Vegas Raiders are now on the clock with the 6th overall pick. And for those of you who might not follow all of the maneuvers, Pete Carroll, now the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders,
Chip Kelly, offensive coordinator. You got a new general manager.
Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly.
Involved in the new ownership.
I can see it. They're both
right now for Las Vegas.
And the pick is in.
Like I might have to take a trip down to Las Vegas a few times.
With the 6th pick in the 2025, the Las Vegas Raiders select Ashton Jeanty.
There we go.
What does he say?
There we go.
Up for the Heisman Trophy and going 6th overall to Las Vegas. He is now the highest picked running back from outside the power conferences since LaDainian Tomlinson in 2001 came out of TCU. And Jeanty, he is really a citizen of the world. There was talk that maybe the Jaguars would go after him. His hometown, though, he moved a lot and played high school ball in Texas. From Jacksonville, parents from in the Navy, they went to Italy for a while and then brought him back. And boy, what a season he had for the Boise State Broncos.
And keep this in mind. A couple years ago, people talked about the running back positions losing its value.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden last year, Saquon Barkley left and went to Philadelphia. Derrick Henry left and obviously went to Baltimore. Josh Jacobs left Las Vegas, went to, where did he go? Green Bay. And all of a sudden you have all these guys that are thinking about this running back position, all of a sudden, the way the defense, you're playing a lot of too high. You got to run the football. Jeanty could not be any better if you had to hand select the back 5'8", 211, low center of gravity, bounces off, just a perfect running back and a fit for Chip Kelly and what they want to do offensively.
Well, I think this guy is a combination. Even if people say he's short, he's not small. He's got power. He's got great contact balance. He's got great one-cut burst, suddenness to get the top speed quickly. Kind of like Jamar Gibbs that we had, at Alabama playing for the Lions now. This guy reminds me of him. A little different version, but very, very similar in terms of what this guy's skill set is. He wasn't using the passing game as much as Boise, but I think he will be a great third down back as well. Good call.
That's a great point too, Nick. In high school,
There you have it, guys. Ashton Jeanty is a Las Vegas Raider. So
he's proven
it's a quick trip down to watch those games for Bronco Nation. So I'm going to probably hit a couple games.
Boy, Ashton Jeanty was just a consummate leader for Boise State, and he came very close to Barry Sanders in that spectacular 1988 season. Oh, that verified hair right there, bro. 27 yards short hair of that dude. And you see the reaction of the people who are watching
high school.
Oh, he's high school in Frisco, Texas, where he moved when he came back from overseas. He's in many places. He's
I grew up in a military family. My father's name was Harry Jeanty. My mother's name is Pamela Jeanty. My dad was in the Navy for 20 years, and one of our stops was in Naples, Italy. I was 12 years old when me and my family moved. Football and
Robert Ridnour said he called it.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
The away game was really an away game. I mean,
Thomas Elkington says, "Congratulations, Ash."
And so, that was
I'm just happy that the Browns didn't pick him.
I transitioned from Italy back to the States pretty well. Just getting back used to that level of competition.
That would have been awful.
Pushing myself to be better each and every single day because I knew I was just as good as the guys that I was playing with. My military background has shaped me for success. My father taught me so many different things just by his actions of being disciplined and how to work hard to achieve your goals.
The beach. The Corona, she isn't just a place. She is an element. And with salt.
Pat Work on Facebook says, "I knew it. Go Jeanty. We need to get a bus ready to go watch Jeanty play. Fun trip for Bronco Nation." Yep, that'd be a cool road trip. Yeah, I'm so glad that Cleveland didn't pick him. Like, thank you, Lord, man. Whew.
Yeah.
That was close. Janet Dominguez on Facebook says, "Raiders." All right, I'm going to open this up to Bronco Nation. What do you think about the pick? Are you glad that he went to the Las Vegas Raiders? I mean, it is closer. How do you think you think that's a good fit for Ash? And I think it's a pretty good fit. I think with Pete Carroll and stuff, they got Geno Smith he came from the Seattle Seahawks, so there's some continuity between the coach and the quarterback. So it should be a pretty good system. Plus you got Chip Kelly in there.
Yeah. As long as Pete Carroll doesn't throw a pass on the 1 yard line
on the goal line.
Super Bowl on the line, yeah. Just give the ball to Jeanty.
Yep.
But you have two offensive masterminds, two very creative guys. So I'm not upset about it, other than it's not Dallas where I can make the 2-hour trip over to go watch him.
Yeah, that'd have been cool. But maybe he'll. I'm not sure if the Raiders are playing Dallas this year or not.
I don't know.
Maybe you can. Well, you have two shots if he's playing against Dallas or Houston. You can make either one of those. But James says on Facebook, heck yes, he's kind of close to Boise and Utah. I can go see him play. Yep, it's an ideal situation for Broncos fans. And Becky Oatman on Facebook says, number 6 pick, Raiders. And she's referring to Jared when he commented that he thought that Jeanty was going to go to the Raiders.
So it looks like the 2025, they're playing the Cowboys at home, and they're playing the Texans away. So I can try and get down to Houston whenever that schedule comes out, and I
there you go.
See.
It's like the Jets pick is in.
Best player, difference maker. Matthew Golden would be a nice one. The Jets have decided who they think the best player for them is at the moment as we go to the podium.
With the 7th to 2025 NFL draft, the New York Jets select Armand Membu, Missouri, tackle.
So it's pretty much going how we thought on Tuesday, with the exception of that trade, and then the switch between Mason Graham and Ashton Jeanty at 5 and 6. At 7, Jets got a tackle, Armand Membu, which they needed. So
yeah, I had him going to the Raiders, but I also had Jeanty going to the Patriots at 4, so that's why I'm going to the Raiders. All the people that I've said was going in the top 10, they're going in the top 10, just not in the order that I had them.
Yeah, there's just a slight movement on some of them, you know.
Yep.
For opportunities here in America, knowing how much my parents have sacrificed for me, I just want to keep continuing to honor my family name.
We got Carolina's on the clock.
Wasn't the best. I played a lot of different.
Hey, all of our viewers, if you can do us a favor and just quickly share the link wherever you're watching it. We're on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. So wherever you're at, do us a favor and share this out, like it, comment, and again, your comments are going to go on the show. So we want to hear what you think, how you feel about the draft. Let us know where you think Austin's going to go, or where you want him to go. It's like Raider Nation joined on TikTok.
That work in space. Watch this on the split. Great pass blocker. So, I just think this guy athletically is the best offensive lineman in this draft. That says a lot. I mean, athletic ability, when you're going up, one thing I've learned in these last 3 years doing NFL games on Thursday night is there's such a discrepancy between offensive line play and the defensive lineman and how athletic and how big they get. So to hear you say this guy is by far probably the best athlete up front, that'll pay huge dividends for him when he tries to make
I'm pretty sure that the Panthers are going to take Walker.
edge pressure.
He's still available, and that's exactly what they need out of Georgia.
I don't disagree.
And from his junior year, the sophomore year to junior year, he grew 3 inches, gained about 60 pounds. People didn't even recognize him when he went back to high school, and that's when he really started to flourish. So he had that great footwork with that big.
They can also go cornerback though with Will Johnson.
Offensive tackle.
Yeah.
Just become Bimbo, and the Carolina Panthers are on the clock for the 8th pick.
If you keep making that face, it's
Stupid commercials. We're not here for the commercials. We're here for the pigs.
Yeah. They got to pay the bills, you know. Where's all our Raider fans out there? Chime in. Let us know how you feel about that pick. Well, had a couple curveballs there, but it ended up, about pretty close to where a lot of people thought he was going to land at 6.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen him go sooner for his wallet.
Right.
But
right.
He's still going to probably clear about $30 million for his rookie contract. But he's making a lot of endorsements too, so he's doing very well, deservedly so. Well, we really appreciate everyone who's joined us watching the last hour and a half. It's been a really good draft, and Ashton Jeanty did make history for Boise State. He's the highest pick ever in Boise State history. The second highest would be Ryan Clady at 12 in 08. So congratulations, Ashton. It's been what a year, man.
Hey, Nick, check your chat real quick.
Okay, we're gonna yeah. Let me. How do I do that?
For those of you just tuning in, Ashton Jeanty did go to the Raiders at number 6. The only firework so far was the Browns traded with the Jaguars at number 2. We're about to see who the Panthers pick at number 8.
NFL draft. The Carolina Panthers select Teteroa McMillan, wide receiver.
There you go. There's your wide receiver off the board, Nick.
Oh, the big guys from Arizona.
You got Bryce Young. That got way better in the second half of the season. Here's somebody to help him. Yeah. The poor Panthers fan wasn't sure. This is good. Yeah, this is good. This is a good thing. This is a good selection. I'll tell you what. By the way, if you had 2 high school teammates going off the board in the top 8 picks before 2 college teammates, you're a winner. Teteroa McMillan was a high school
Alex says
teammate.
she barely made it in the door to see history, and history was made.
Polynesian heritage, and certainly very proud of the path that has led Teteroa McMillan to be the first Arizona wide receiver taken in the first round in the common draft era.
And the Saints are on the board, or on the clock.
I grew up in
We'll see who Kellen Moore picks for his first pick of a head coach career.
Hawaiian Polynesian culture is super important to me. Try to instill in our culture is family, respect, humility, and gratitude. I'm definitely a reflection of my Polynesian heritage. I want Polynesian high school and Polynesian college football player. It was a super dope moment. Winning those awards was never really about me. It was really about just the Polynesian football players who came before me, who laid the foundation for me to succeed at this game. My message to future generations of Polynesian football players is just to stay humble, keep your head down, trust the process, always put God first.
Yeah, T-Mac's grandmother, Blanche, she runs a shelter in Hawaii, and he grew up working in that shelter. You talked to coaches. I spoke to Coach Jeanty. He said that
I'm anxious to see how well he does.
And service, and his drive is because of his love for his Polynesian.
Walker's still available.
very high value system driven by doing good.
But they need to do something about their quarterback situation.
Who can make all the catches, guys?
So they could.
He's been sensational.
They could pick Dart, or if they wanted to, they could pick Sanders.
General McMillan, his great career at Arizona.
Yeah, well, I think this guy's a size, length, ability to catch 50-50 balls. He's very smooth athletically. You know, some people say not as such, but these big guys don't have to be as such, man. They can work their length, and this guy does that great. He can drop his weight. He makes, you know, some very difficult catches. And the red zone is a huge advantage when you have big people, as you can see right here. I mean, huge advantage. I think this guy's going to be a great player.
And Coach, go back to what Reese said earlier. Your former guy, Bryce Young, and early in his career, people were critical of his play. But look at the receivers that they had on that roster his first couple years. They're getting better and better. His head coach, Dave Canales, I thought did great work with his mindset, regained his confidence. This is a huge pick, and as Reese, you said earlier, Carolina's going to learn to appreciate who this guy is because of how much he's going to help the quarterback, Bryce Young.
I don't want to make it about Bryce Young, but I could just see Bryce smile on his face.
Second straight year that the Panthers have gone with the wide receiver. They did Luggett last year, so now they have this. We go into war now.
All right, thank you so much, Reese. And we just saw Blanche, Tetaroa's grandmother, on the screen, her incredible works of service. Well, I'm surrounded by his family. They're all wearing the leis that were homemade by Blanche. And of course, Tetaroa wearing it as well, his Polynesian heritage so proudly displayed. Wyatt, when you think about your son and how proud he is of where he came from, what does that mean to you?
It means a lot. Those dreams came to reality, man. Came to reality. It's awesome. And you know, for the leis, thank you, Mom. For real. Thank you, Mom.
Sean, what does this moment mean to you as you watch your son become the 8th overall pick in the NFL draft?
I'm just beyond proud. This means so much.
And Kellen Moore's pick is in.
So
It's no longer the Saints. It's the Kellen Moores.
Congratulations, you guys. Reese.
Laura, thank you very much. I saw Tetaroa's dad there. It looked like him. For me, radius too.
How's Laura keeping it?
He looks like he could play.
How's Laura Rutledge keeping it together with some of these interviews?
I know, right? Exactly. Yeah, she's a pro's pro, man. She is.
I mean, you tear up. These parents, how cool is this? I know it's about the player, but I'm appreciating this.
We are joined by Bronco Blameyer. I'm gonna start off really quick. What's your impression of what's happened in the draft so far?
Well, before I start, I just want to make sure you guys can hear me because I couldn't get my mic to work. I was trying to jump on fast. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I am pumped. I think this is the result that we all thought was going to happen. I mean, that was all the news that we heard coming out leading up to the last few weeks prior to the draft was it's going to be Vegas. It's going to be the Raiders. He's had all these meetings with them. I mean, just 2 weeks ago or maybe a week and a half ago, he was out there. He had an extended meeting with them and with the coaching staff. We know that he had meetings with them at least during the Boise State Pro Day. We know for a fact that he met with their leadership. There was photos of him out at lunch or something like that on Twitter. So we knew that this was the most likely path. And then you start hearing these rumors about so-and-so may trade up or take an unexpected pick. I mean, Jacksonville Jaguars obviously was a big talking point. And my wife right now, by the way, is devastated because she's a huge Clemson fan. I've converted her to Boise State, but she's still a Clemson fan. And the rumors were really getting her excited about the chance that she might be able to watch Trevor Lawrence and Ashton Jeanty together. But I think that while Vegas, I don't think is necessarily the perfect fit as far as going to an organization that has everything together and being a fit offensively. I think that Denver would have been a great spot for him there, maybe even the Bears. I do think that this is a great landing spot for Jeanty. There's going to be a familiar playing area, as was pointed out. He's 2-0 at home already going into play for the Raiders. Obviously with the Mountain West Championship games. and also with the regular season games at UNLV. I think that this is a perfect spot for him. It'll be an easy drive for Boise State fans that want to stay connected and going down to visit some games. So this is awesome. I'm pumped. I'm excited. I've never really had a true NFL team. I've been kind of an Eagles fan ever since Ajayi was there. I got, obviously that was the Super Bowl season, so that was a fun one. So I've kind of had them as a fan, but I've never really just had a team I watch. I'm watching every Raiders game this year, baby. I might even spring and get NFL primetime or whatever the streaming service you need to watch all the NFL games is. So I'm pumped. I'm excited. This is great.
Nice.
So how glad are you that Cleveland didn't pick him?
Yeah, I am very, very happy that Cleveland did not get him. I never thought that was a place that he was going to go and play at, honestly. There's a lot of reasons. I played in Ohio my junior and senior year of high school. That's where I played my high school football. And so not that the state of Ohio is terrible. I don't actually mind the state of Ohio so much, but just the Cleveland organization has just had an issue for the last decade and a half plus. I mean, that is not a place that you want to find yourself in on draft day, at least not as a player like Ashton Jeanty. And then obviously you got all the cultural issues that they've had with some of their quarterback choices recently. I won't go any further than that. But I think that Vegas is a good spot. I think it's an organization that is starting to build some new things. They brought in a new GM recently. They're trying to readjust the culture there. I think that there are some opportunities to grow and to be part of building something new.
Yeah, and they got Chip Kelly, OC. They brought over Geno Smith from Seattle. So you got that the head coach, quarterback, some solidarity there. So I think it is a pretty good situation for Ash.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I absolutely would agree with that. I think that you're going to have an offense that, Geno is talented, but he's not going to be, a record-breaking quarterback, and he hasn't been. He's been a reliable type of quarterback for them in the NFL so far. Geno, was he out of West Virginia? Well, I can't remember. I can't remember where he came out of, but anyhow, I think that this is going to be a good combination. I think it's going to be an offense that Ashton Jeanty's going to have a heavy role in. I would expect him to be that key centerpiece. Vegas, again, really needing that running back and bringing in a quarterback that can be reliable, but not necessarily that, take over explosive type player. I think it's going to be an offense that heavily focuses on Ashton Jeanty. It's going to be a good opportunity for him.
While you're talking, the New Orleans Saints picked Banks Jr., Kelvin Banks Jr. out of Texas. Had over 1,400 pass blocks and only gave up 3 sacks, so that's a good pickup for Kellen Moore, another Boise State great. And the Bears, see what their backup plan is now that Jeanty's off the board.
Well, Kellen Moore, former quarterback, he knows the importance of that offensive line. So I'm excited to see what happens with him as well. I know there was a lot of Boise State fans that were just hoping maybe in the back of the mind there that Saints would pick up Jeanty. That would be great, obviously, to see the two greatest of all time together there. But obviously, they've got Kamara there, so they've got a solid running back already. They don't need to go pick up one. So this has been a great draft class. I'm not gonna be able to stick around for too much longer. I could probably talk a little bit more, but this has been a fantastic draft. I think again there was some of those wrenches thrown in early. I think most of it though went exactly as we thought it was going to. Cam Ward came off the board as the first quarterback. Hunter came off second. And again, whether that's deservedly so or not, the NFL career will prove out. I think that you're going to end up seeing Ashton Jeanty in the end have a much bigger impact right away than you will just right off the bat from Hunter. I think that Jeanty will adapt more easily to having been playing his primary position. I talked to, I've had a couple players on and we've talked about the role of the running back, and not just the running back, but also the role of this year with so much multi-positional focus around Travis Hunter, and just talking about, is that really the way forward? Is that what you want to see? And it's not, because it doesn't prepare you for the next level. I mean, Hunter's not going to come out here and play both ways in the NFL. He's probably going to start at corner, and they're probably going to have some plays for him that he comes and plays some wide receiver. But he's not going to be their starting corner and starting wide receiver like he was at Colorado. And so he's going to have to be in a back footing finding his way into that new primary position, because you cannot be the best at each spot. And he wasn't the best. As the statistics showed, he was not the best wide receiver and the best corner. He was a really good wide receiver and corner, but the NFL, it doesn't pay to be solid at 2 spots. It pays to be the best at 1. And that's what Ashton Jeanty is. So I think you're going to see him coming in and showing in the end why he deserved the Heisman, obviously, but why he was such a huge, huge asset for Boise State. I think you're going to see that at the next level as well.
I agree. I think he's. Go ahead.
10 touchdowns over 13 seasons, all with the Chicago Bears. As you heard earlier, the NFL continues to honor Fleetness, not only for his performance and excellence on the field, but also his commitment to give back to his community with the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award. So with the 10th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft,
Tyler Warren.
the Chicago Bears select
Oh, Colston Loveland,
Michigan.
Idaho product.
Yeah, 2 Michigan players off the board in the top 10.
Nice. But I was going to say, I think that out of the, to me, I think there was 3 great prospects in this draft. Ashton being number 2 behind Abdul Carter. I think out of the places that, like, between Ward, Hunter, and Carter, I think that Ashton Jeanty has the best path for success out of all of those people where they landed. So I get it works out great. I was hoping a little bit higher, because the higher that you're picked, the better it is for your wallet. But he's going to do pretty good with about $30 million on his.
See, but I don't know if that's necessarily true, and this can be one of the last things we talk about here before I do have to head off. But and I know, Sam, you had something you wanted to say as well. So, but I don't know if that's necessarily true, because yes, it's big. It's better on your wallet to start off with, right? But you're only talking a difference of a few million, and yes, I know that's a big amount still. But earlier on, you're going to those teams that they're early up in the draft for a reason, right? And so you're going to be going to them. You're going to be taking a lot more wear and tear. You're going to maybe end up putting yourself in a spot where you're not getting the same coaching that you would at another school. You're not getting the same development. And the real money comes not from the rookie signing, but from that, 3 or 4 years, whenever the rookie contract is over, however long it is, that the second signing, that's where the real money is made. And so I think that there is a benefit to not going, last in the draft per se, but going a little bit further down where you're still making that high first round money, but you're also going to an organization that maybe has themselves a little bit better together. And I think that's what you have with the Raiders.
Yeah, true. And that's where Khalil Shakur is right now. He's just made that second contract, right. So he's doing well.
Before you go, I do want to get your thoughts on a couple things. We know that Hasnain, he didn't start playing competitive ball until 2019. He's been 5 years playing competitive ball and went from Egypt to the NFL draft. Most of the people have him as the 6th round with the Jets or the Colts. Some of them even have him as an undrafted free agent, but I think there's only a few out there that think he'll go in the 5th round. Me, I'm hopeful he goes 5th round to the Cowboys, but that's just me, again, because I'm close to Dallas. I can go watch him play. But with him and with Oladipo, who's projected to be an undrafted free agent, but there is that with the heart and the talent. We saw it against UNLV in the Mountain West Conference Championship game where he didn't give up on that play at the end of the half, which would have shifted momentum dramatically in UNLV's favor. Where do you think that those two will end up? Do you think they're going to be in that 5th to 7th round draft? I know Oladipo is probably a longer shot than what Hasnain is, but what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm not going to necessarily throw out a team, because once you start getting that far back in the draft, it's almost impossible unless there's some information that you have about a specific team that's been going after him. I mean, I know that Hasnain has been talking to a lot of different programs. I think they're excited. There's a lot of teams that are excited to him, but you're right. He's not a a player that's the same Ashton Jeanty type of first round type quality. I don't think that goes without saying. As far as a draft pick goes, I think when you're talking about long term NFL success, I think he's going to be, right up there, Tyron Crawford type. You're playing for extended period of time, a very long 10, 11 plus NFL career. I expect him to do very well. As far as where he goes in the draft, he's going to end up on an NFL team. That goes without saying. I think that his ceiling. I think his ceiling is probably early 5th round, like absolute ceiling. I think most likely I do believe he gets drafted. I think that there are enough teams that have expressed interest, and he's kind of been one of those underdog, quiet stories in the background that's been getting a lot of focus. And when you start to see that in the media, it usually shows something that they have some sort of information, or that other teams are paying that same amount of attention to him. So I expect him to go probably late 5th round, early mid 6th. I know that's kind of, I'm not really nailing myself down to a very specific prediction there. It's a wide area. I would love to see him go early 5th. I think he has that capability. I think there are enough teams interested in him. Obviously, what Ashton Jeanty did was, again, leaving the right way, bringing all of those scouts to Boise to come and watch him at his pro day. Even though he still didn't end up doing as much as was expected, he still brought all those eyes. And even in that, it didn't hurt him. 6th in the draft overall. He allowed other players to shine. He was still there, and he still did his thing. But all of the actual on-field reps and a lot of the other things that happened, most of it was the other players. And so I think a lot of eyes came to Ahmad Hassani and some of these other players for Boise State. So I think that there's been enough attention paid, and I think he's had enough of an impact that he does get drafted. As far as exactly the team he goes to, I can't say. As far as where he goes, I'm probably going to put my money on 6th round, early, going to a team that I think is going to have him along for quite a long time. Now, as far as Shea Oladipo, I don't expect him to get drafted here. I think he's a little bit undersized. But I do think that you're right that he is going to end up on an NFL roster. I certainly expect him to get some camp invites. I think he will even get potentially an undrafted free agent signing. He plays with, like you said, so much energy. He is also incredibly talented. He's been one of my favorite players to watch at Boise State. His family are just absolutely incredible, the kindest, nicest people you've ever met. So he is definitely going to get that opportunity to earn his way onto a roster, maybe in a camp type setting, or maybe in that getting that signing as an undrafted free agent. But I definitely think that you see him land his way on the spot and work his way through. I don't think he's going to be a guy that comes and just starts right away. I think it's going to be a few years before he works his way up to a potential being a contributor. But I do definitely see him finding his way onto a roster and potentially working his way into being a contributor to an NFL team.
Now, one last follow-up. Okay. Do you think his 5 years, only being competitive 5 years, talking about Hassani, not Oladipo, but him only having the 5-year play time where it does not have the wear and tear on his body, do you think that's playing in his favor for some of these later round picks to, let's go ahead and take a chance on this guy, let him get behind some veterans and develop a little bit more and try and work out some of them bad habits, and then he ends up getting to play later because he doesn't have that wear and tear? Do you think that's a factor?
I don't think that's a factor because the primary wear and tear is coming in college, and he certainly got that. Not that he was injured a lot, he wasn't, but he was worn and torn down in college, and I don't think that his playing experience as far as an injury likelihood, having not played that much in high school and then coming to I don't think that plays a factor. I think it could potentially play a factor in him going later on, or potentially in that undrafted realm, just with some of that lower experience. But he's played 4 years of college. He's played 4 years of college. This isn't like some diamond in the rough guy who's been playing rugby, in New Zealand, and then they find him and he's kind of come, like you see the stories sometimes. He's been playing 4 years of college. He's incredibly experienced at a very high elite level. Boise State's coaches are highly thought of around the professional industry and what Boise State's products produce. I mean, I know that it's a slogan, #built different, but it's true. I don't think that's going to be an impactor for him. I think more than anything, as far as just going a little bit later in some of these rounds, I think the group of 5 stick is a little bit harder to get through when you're a defensive type of player. We saw Leighton Vander Esch, of course, but he was just an absolute freak of nature. And not that Ahmad Hassanin isn't, but I think that's probably something that may hold him back a little bit. But in the end, it won't matter because he'll get signed, he'll work his way onto a team, and he'll end up making more money than some of these guys that are first-round draft busts. So I don't think that's a factor as far as his limited playing time. I don't even really think it's that much of a factor as far as limited experience. I think maybe what may hold him back is just being from that group of 5 level. And also, teams did start to bottle him up a little bit this year. Like if he'd had the same season he did last year where he, had, historic numbers of sacks and was coming off of just blowing everybody up. I think that you may see him going in the earlier, like 2nd, 3rd round type of opportunity. This year, he unfortunately was a focus, and so he got double teamed. Even with that, he had an incredible season.
Yeah.
But I think that is going to just the lower level of flash may hold him back just a little bit. But I think he finds his way into a great roster.
Yeah.
Well,
you talked about great defense in the NFL. You also have Tank Lawrence that played. I think he played 2 seasons with LVE. So.
Well, hey, I appreciate you hopping on here. We're getting close to the 2-hour mark, so I'm going to go ahead and let you, Bronco Blameyer, send us out with only the way that you know how to.
Well, before you do that, let me make this quick announcement. I do have part 2, and a lot of you have been reading my part 1, the NIL and portal, on how to fix college sports. Part 2, look for it to drop by the end of next week.
Yep, and that'll be on BroncoNationUpdates.com.
Well, thanks for having me on, guys. It's been awesome. I know that Bronco Nation is just so thrilled right now. This means so much for Boise State. It means so much for Ashton Jeanty, obviously, but it means so much for Boise State to have a player of this caliber and of this level getting this deserved attention and ending up going in the highest ever draft, I believe, for Boise State. This is absolutely incredible and historic, and we all can't wait to root on Raider Nation. Even if we're not Raiders fans, some of us are going to be definitely rooting on Ashton Jeanty as part of the Raider Nation. It's exciting. I know we all can't wait to see it. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching all the way through. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe to Bronco Nation Updates here and listen to all the great content Bronco Nation Updates has. Sam talks, obviously, everything that Chris V has as well, and the great stuff from Nick Wade. So thanks so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and as always, go Big Blue!